Hey everybody, this is Rydo, and we are back to Pretty Girls Mahjong Solitaire. Not very much Mahjong, I knew it wasn't going to be. Pretty much just Solitaire with Mahjong tiles. With a little bit of extra help, which I'm glad for because the first set of puzzles we were doing were timed and did not give us any help. So not only were they extra difficult because there was a time limit, which I've never seen on a Mahjong Solitaire game before in my life, but there was no features that you would typically expect in the PC version or computer version of a Solitaire game. No cheats or anything, because these effectively are cheats, but they're cheats that you wouldn't really have available to you if you were playing with Mahjong tiles in the real world, unless somebody else is looking over your shoulder and helping you. Let's make as many matches as possible. This game is really about just digging down to the ground floor with the tiles. Once nothing is stacked on top of anything, you're good to go. I suppose it would be pretty easy to cheat here yourself in the real world. You could simply bump a tile here, pick up a tile when nobody's looking. I don't know if there's actually any Mahjong Solitaire tournaments that ever occurred, but it's a big enough world that almost certainly there is somewhere. And Mahjong is super popular as an idea. Although I think Mahjong, the real game, not the Solitaire variant, is much more popular. And it's a much better game, honestly. Solitaire is just about matching tiles here. You can do that with almost anything. When we get to the series where we actually play Mahjong, you'll see actual strategy and actual thought put out, and there's a whole betting system you can do when you play Mahjong that puts more of an effort into actually playing an expert level designed game versus something that's super simplistic. I teach a kid to play Mahjong Solitaire. I would teach a adult to play Mahjong, just because of the level of difficulty and the level of complexity. Of course, it helps if you can name all the tiles, and I can only name about half of them. So there is some weirdness here. Like, this is the one of bamboo shoots, but it's a picture of a peacock. And this is the red dragon, which is just the Japanese symbol of the dragon. And this is one of the winds, but I couldn't tell you whether it's north, south, east, or west. This is one of the winds, this is one of the winds. This is a blank tile, which again you could cheat. Let's go ahead and use this. Man, I've got a ton of matches. I'm not paying enough attention. So I really wish I knew the story of the Monkey King and the Romance of the 12 Kingdoms, I think is the name of it. I may be wrong about the number of kingdoms. It's a story that's known and taught in schools in the Eastern and China, Eastern world. China mostly. I think Japanese people know it too, but I'm not sure any of the other Asian countries particularly know it that well. But it's completely, I know it's really long, it's kind of like a War and Peace style thing. and I think it's really good, but it's just not taught anywhere. It's not known anywhere in the West, and there's not a great translation of that. No movie, no TV show, nothing that really explains it well. I know there's a lot of Japanese animes that are loosely based on it, but then the problem is every time they're loosely based on it, they throw in some magical element that I'm uncertain about, because you have like the Monkey King here with his cloud nimbus that he's flying on, and his staff that he can extend or shrink as much as he wants. And like I said before, that's exactly what Dragon Ball is, because they stole that character from Dragon Ball, but for Dragon Ball. No, yeah. So I don't think there's like a faithful reproduction of the story. And it may very well be because it's this big old novel series, which is what I think it is, that, wow, look at all these matches. It just doesn't translate well. I mean, if you tried to translate Shakespeare into any language besides English, I could certainly understand that also having trouble not really working very well. Because of the rhyming and the importance of each word being a specific way. So time to use the shuffle there, at least I think it was. This is 5. And this. Wait, I may have to shuffle again. See, I have all these flat pieces down here, but I don't want to use them yet. I want to... Here we go. That, with that, that, with that. So this piece is under this piece, because we see every other match on the table. And I could go ahead and make these matches, but it's actually a mistake to do that. It's better to shuffle. That way this piece is now matching that. And now that we have everything down to one level, it should be impossible to lose. And we're on the final round of stage 3 now. And we're cycling through the music. It seems like they've got 4, maybe 5 songs at most. Maybe they only have 3. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case, if they only had like 3 songs. The problem with games like this, where there's a set number of stages, whether you make a game with 100 stages or make a game with barely 20 stages, as this game may very well barely have 20 stages. Any way you do it, it's pretty finite. Well, it's definitely finite. That's exactly what it is, and a certain type of player is not going to be happy with that. They're going to want to continue playing, and I know Hexcel's Infinite is a game I covered a long time ago, and it wasn't until the 3rd in the series of the Hexcel's games, Hexcel's Infinite, that the creator finally put in a random seed generator so you could play these puzzle games that were generated, and it's still a finite number of puzzles you can play, but the number is up into the, I believe, millions. So if you wanted to play millions of puzzles, you've probably got a lifetime supply. I don't know if it's my eyesight that's failing me or if I'm out of moves. I guess I don't want to accidentally actually run out of moves and then have to start all over again. Let's click this. Yeah, we've got all kinds of connections and I'm just being blinded to the opportunities. Now, it's important to remember that this blinking one is not the only potential match here. It's just the only potential match that was there when I clicked the button. This here is a match. This here is a match. This is a match. And this is a match. And this is a match. And let's continue looking. This is a match. That. See, I can leave the blinking one as our backup so we can always shuffle. Hopefully. Nope, that's not a match. These two would be a match if I could get inward a little bit. 4, 5, 9. I suppose you could probably play something similar to Uno with Mahjong tiles. It wouldn't be quite as high as Uno, but it would be close. Because Uno goes up to like 12 or 15. But it may have more than 4 colors. No, I think it is just 4 colors that you pick. So time to shuffle. At least it felt like it to me. Hit that. Hit that. Let's see. That. Music feels like it's going on long to give me more time. And it seems like she'll moan or blush every 3rd match or so. So they've just hard programmed it so she doesn't do it every single time, but does it enough for you to hear it often enough, I suppose. Yep, every 3rd time, I think. Just hard-coded to that. Not really related to any move or how long you take to do a move or anything like that. See, the music is actually fading out, and that's going to be an interesting to hear what it does. Yeah, it doesn't even wait. It just comes back in. And that's bad programming on music, is you should fade out on the music if you're out of music. Wait about 3 or 4 minutes of just silence and then fade it back in. Don't just immediately go back into it, because then you're just playing on repeat, and it's kind of annoying when the songs are on repeat. Or you can try to make your music loopable, so it just loops forever. And sometimes that works. Oops. I thought there was a tile under that one. So this this 8 here is gonna kill me. So let's look at all the matches. You can do a blank and a blank, and that's kind of it. So time to shuffle again. Let's go ahead and get rid of this. Get rid of this. Get rid of this. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. That one's gone. That one's gone. And see, that eliminates everything down to the lowest level. No, actually it didn't. Now I'm down to the lowest level. So we can just match. There. And as I thought, the final outfit is this demon succubus outfit. And I get called a pervert again. I'm just here to play Mahjong Solitaire, lady. Swear I am. So what's strange about this is we didn't unlock a new girl. So even though we did all 3 stages of 2 girls now, and 1 stage of Kanon, still not enough. So I am assuming it's either going to be after this stage or this stage. I mean, if it isn't, then I have no idea what unlocks these other 2 girls. So let's go ahead and hop in here. These puzzles are not really getting any more difficult. Stage 3 ones are slightly more difficult, but stage 4, the one stage 4 one was incredibly more difficult. But ever since I turned it on easy mode, it seems like it is treating me nicer and giving me easy. Maybe easy mode unlocked these. If that's the case, then I need to go back and play like stage 4 on Ren. If that's the case and easy mode just gives us these abilities, that's fine. In fact, that may very well be the case. That's something I need to investigate. But I'm totally cool with that being the help that it gives me. It's certainly needed help of some sort here. Everything is done, so just move as fast as possible. She's saying sweet way too often. Although if she was speaking English and just saying sweet, 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 awesome, and all the different words we have for sweet in English, it probably wouldn't sound that often. It's just kind of the way she's saying sweet and repeating it a little too often to a Western ear, to my ear. But sadly, we're really not talking about Chinese New Year. There's not a lot I know about it. I know some of the stereotypical things, like dragons and dancing and fireworks and all of those. I don't know for the life of me why any of those things are done or why any of those things are involved. Does it have something to do with the Emperor? Maybe I should have done some research. I've been incredibly behind, in my own mind at the very least, on recording and covering video games lately, so doing research on games is not something I've been doing a lot of. Usually I like to go into games pretty blind. Honestly, this game series is going longer than I thought it was. I really thought I'd only get 4 or 5 recordings out of this whole series. Partially because I figured it was just going to be an infinite number of puzzles, and I would have played it 3 or 4 times and said, well, that's Mahjong Solitaire. You now know how to play the game, you can play it forever. And I've been put in the lurch here because, look, I gotta shuffle again. Because that's not what this game really is. Seriously? Wow. I'm not getting any opportunities to make matches. Let's see. This here. Those two don't match, but those two do. Let's see. And I've gotten it down to this point, so I think I've won as long as I play pretty carefully. And see, she might be saying kawaii, or kawaii, which is cute, which would make sense. And so, to the next round, we'll see. And it's just a big heart. So it seems like this girl is all about cute and sweet and all the words that a girl might say at that age. Anywho, that's gonna be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. All that helps out. If you want to support me further, go to my main YouTube page. On the right there's a button that says support this channel. Click it, make a donation. And if you want a friend to follow me on basically any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.